session will be on spice processing, value addition, and entrepreneurship opportunities. Next slide, please. The slide is okay. So we all know India is a home of spices, and we produce a variety of spices. And actually, spices, the number of spices, if you see, we have about 109 spices which are categorized by International Organization for Standardization as spices. And out of this, India is producing about 75 varieties of spices. And we have another organization called Spices Board of India. It is not Indian Institute of Spices Research, but it is another organization which comes under Ministry of Commerce. And this organization will completely cater to the demands of export of spices from India. And IASR mandate is only to do the research of spices. And we also have another development agency called Directorate of Arecanut and Spices, and its mandate is for area spread and maintain the statistics of production, cultivation, and other things. So these are the three organizations we have for spices in the country. Next slide. So coming to the value addition or the spice scenario, we are exporting spices to about 130 countries in the world. And if you see the total production, less than only 10% is exported. 90% of our total production, we are consuming it from the country, within the country itself. Only less than 10% we are exporting to other countries. And this may be in the form of whole spices or in the form of value-added products. Value-added products mainly includes the powdered form, then its oil and oleoresins. So these are the three main important products. Apart from this, there are many other products which are obtained from fresh spices or processed spices that are exported. Next, please. So the other forms includes the powdered form in the form of mixes, that is the curry powders and masalas, paste, concentrates, oils, and oleoresins, as discussed earlier. Next, please. So these are some of the spices. I'll be dealing mainly on black pepper, ginger, turmeric, nutmeg, which are most commonly cultivated, and the institute's mandate is on other spices, to lesser extent on cinnamon, clove, and of course cardamom is also one of our major crop. Next, please. Next, please. Black pepper. Next. So the primary operation, before coming to value addition, it is important that we do proper primary processing. And in case of primary processing of pepper, it is the proper right time of harvest, threshing, blanching, drying, cleaning, grading, and storing. So we'll just see what is the right stage of harvest. Next slide. So pepper, we all know it is a vine which requires a standard for it to climb, and harvesting also, because it is a vine, we need the harvester should climb over the support and then do the picking of spikes. So generally we are using a ladder or a single aluminum pole for harvesting. A person will go to the top and he harvests the spike and the spikes are collected. We can also use the ladder for climbing, and whatever is harvested, we see that it is not put on the soil. So we spread a polythene sheet, and this will help to collect the produce without being contaminated over the soil, because this is being an export commodity. The contamination will come right from the soil itself, and it will be a source for or aflatoxin contamination in spices. So we take maximum care that it doesn't come in contact with the soil. Next, Next, please. So once, because this pepper is a berry, and these berries are arranged on a spike. So when we harvest as a spike. So this spikes, to separate the berries, it is a must that the berries have to be separated. So we go for threshing. Different types of threshers are available. Some of the models I have shown in this slide, and we feed it at the top in the feed hopper, and there will be a rotating drum in certain models. In certain models, we have a nylon brush on a shaft. So there are different models available, or sometimes there is a beater, hammer beater also provided on the shaft. So such are the different models. The last one, the Vinan model, has a rotating drum. At the bottom you have a sieve, and the sieve will help to separate the grains, that is the berries, and the spikes. So all these models of varying capacity, right from 250 kg to about 1500 to 2000 kg models are available. Next, please. This is another commercial model which is commonly used in Coorg. The capacity, because Coorg right now, as we see, Kerala is not the major producer for black pepper. Karnataka and Andhra has taken over, and the crop is also grown in a large area, that is in an estate type cultivation. In Kerala, it is in the small land holding type of cultivation, but right now in Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, it is on a large scale commercial estate type cultivation, and hence the threshers required there goes to about 2500 kg per hour capacity. Next, please. Followed by threshing, the process is drying. So in drying, what we do is we have to remove the moisture content of the berries to a optimum content so that the product is safely stored. And in case of pepper, the final moisture content required for safe storage is about 11%. So 11%, the initial moisture content at the time of harvest will be around 65 to about 67%, and this has to be reduced to around 11%, 11 to 12%. But as per ISO standards, for first grade, it is 11%, and this takes about 5 days. In case of sun drying, it takes about 5 days for drying of the commodity. And while drying, the important thing what we have to see is we have to spread it on a silpaulin sheet or on a shade net, so that the product doesn't come, and that shade net should be spread on concrete floors. Next, please. So these are some of the measures we take, and for large quantities to be dried, we are adopting one more practice, that is the UV stabilized sheet is spread over the pepper, because the ultimate aim of drying is to get a good quality black colored pepper. And there is also a commercial practice of blanching, but this is not possible for large quantities to be handled. So to get the blanching effect, this UV sheet is spread on the top, so that the drying is accelerated and a blanching effect is got. Ultimately, what we get is we get a dark black colored pepper with accelerated drying rate. So drying time is comparatively reduced. Next, please. Otherwise, if in case of Karnataka also, because the crop is getting harvested in the month of maybe March last, or January, April first week, the summer showers are also set. So in certain regions, in these regions, sometimes in certain cases, not every year, or if there is a delayed harvest, the summer shower starts. So in that case, drying will become a problem. So in those cases, what we are doing is we are going for solar tunnel dryer. And of course, this picture is different. Inside the tunnel dryer, what is kept, it is black pepper. and we can go for drying, and here also the drying is completed in about 4 days. Next. Followed by drying, it is essential that no, we have to go for cleaning and grading. And cleaning and grading here, we can see in the spike, when it is dried, we don't have the uniform berry size. It will vary from about less than 3 mm to more than 4.75 mm. But for commercial transaction, it is essential that we should have more or less uniform graded variety of pepper, and hence this sieving of pepper is required. And when we sieve, we generally consider for pepper berries of size more than 3 mm to up to 4.75 mm. And again, above 3 mm, it is still classified as 3 to 3.5, 3.5 to 4, 4 to 4.5, and 4.5 or 4.75 and above. So these graded varieties of pepper are directly sold into the market, and these are called garbled. In pepper, we use a terminology called garbling, and this garbled pepper fetches little more price. And the berries which are less than 3 mm, it is bagged separately, and this is used for powdering or for oil extraction. Next, please. So these are some of the machineries what we have for cleaning and grading. So the one is a spiral separator, and the other one is the cleaner cum grader. So that unit will have an aspirator for sucking off the impurities, then destoner followed by graders, which will grade based on the size of the sieve what is provided. Next, please. And followed by grading, it is essential that the graded pepper has to be properly packed and then stored, because pepper is not a commodity which will get immediately disposed of. It has a very long shelf life, and also the trade in pepper is it is the older the pepper, it will fetch little more price, because it is that is the way it is being traded. And in most of the godowns, it is stored for several years. It goes even up to 10 to 15 years also. So packaging and storage of pepper is very important, and generally in the warehouses, we are storing it for there was a time when the production was very high, and we used to store to more than 15 years, but now the production is comparatively less, and but of course still storage is very important. We use gunny bags or then polywoven bags for storage, and then ensure that it is properly protected against the absorption of moisture. Next, please. Paper bags are also used. Generally, the paper bags are used for export, because there are certain countries where polywoven bags are not permitted, and to that countries we are using what is that paper bags, craft paper bags, and we are exporting the commodities. Next, please. So this is one, basically pepper as a whole is being transacted or exported. Other than that, there are many other value added products from pepper. It can be either from black pepper, it can be from white pepper, or blends, or even from green pepper. Next, please. So from green pepper, we get different types of value added pepper, that is canned pepper in brine. So this process is similar to any other canning of fruits and vegetables. And this is a thermal process where spikes or berries, it is canned in brine solution, tinned, and then we can do the what is that export. Generally all these products are generally exported. We cannot see such kind of products in any of the Indian markets. Then pepper in brine is another product where pepper is stored in brine solution, like how we do salting or mangoes and other amlas. Similar way, pepper berries are also stored in, but this is a lengthy process here. It takes about 45 to 50 days to complete the process, and it is done in 3 steps. 3 operations, 3 sets of operation. In each operation, in the first operation, what we do is we separate the berries, or the spike as such can be stored. That is, the salt solution will have 17% brine with 0.2% citric acid. The washed berries or spice are added to it, and we are storing it for about 15 days. This is generally done in this. The picture shows only a final product, but generally it is done in a Syntex tank. That is about 1 ton is handled, or it can be even in a water tank with which is constructed out of brick or in concrete, and then we can do this operation. And after 15 days, what we do is we discard the water and wash it with plain water. And again, followed by this, we have the same process is repeated. The same concentration of brine and citric acid. We are preparing a fresh solution, and the prepared whatever we have washed and kept is again added to it. So this operation has to be continued for 3 times, which takes about 45 days, and finally it is washed clean and then transferred to containers of about 25 kg. That is the standard size 25 kg cans or 25 kg tins. That is, we have the food grade cans, and these are sealed and then dispatched. Next, please. Dehydrated green pepper. So generally we see pepper which is black in color, but there are other value added products. That means the pepper can be green in color, pepper is red in color, pepper is also white in color. So all these have a definite processes to get the definite color of pepper, colored pepper. And to produce dehydrated green pepper, this green color is basically due to the presence of chlorophyll. And we know that pepper, generally what happens is immediately after harvest, there's certain enzymes present in this will change the color, the green color to black color. This is a slow process, maybe in a day or two, or maybe by the second day after harvest, when we put it or when it is exposed to sunlight, the acceleration becomes rapid, and by second day it is almost black in color. So this is this is a common way, that is a way which it is by default. We cannot arrest this action, but in order to get green pepper, it is very much essential that this process is arrested. And for arresting this, what we do is we boil it. So the pepper has to be boiled in boiling water. It is cooked to about 30 minutes and then dried in mechanical dryers at a high temperature to about 7 to 8 hours, and then cooled and then packed. So by this, what we get is we get a green color pepper, and this again we have to see that it is not much exposed to sunlight, because on exposure to sunlight, the color gets degraded. Next, please. Next, please. So this is a firm which is producing green pepper. And one thing what we have to take care is, on the day of harvest itself, it is essential that within 5 to 6 hours, the process of the basic processes what is required, that is cleaning, grading, and other things, should be started. And in about 7 to 8 hours, it has to go for cooking and drying. Next, please. Next, please. So this is an industry where the graded pepper is cooked in kettles, and immediately it is cooled in water which is stored in the tank. And then, next, please. The pepper from this kettle, cooled pepper is removed and then spread in trays, over trays, and then dried. And after drying, it is packed in gunny bags lined with uh, polyethylene sheets, polyethylene covers, and then it is packed and sealed and then stored. Next, please. And other two important value added products from any spice for that matter, it is the oil and it is the oleoresin. So how do we extract oil? Oil is a product which is obtained by water distillation. That is, we are crushing the material and then boiling it with water. And after some time, as the water evaporates along with the steam, the volatile constituents of the product spice will evaporate along with the steam. This is condensed and then collected separately. If there are different spices will have oils of different densities. If the oil is lighter, it will float. If it is heavier, it will settle down, and this oil and water, it will form a distinct layer. This can be separated and then it can be packaged, and then in an industrial way what we do is we centrifuge it and then final traces to remove the final traces of moisture, and then we store the oil separately in cans. Stainless steel, we have the silos and it can be stored there. In case of oleoresin, what is required is we require organic solvents, and these solvent, it is generally we use acetone or petroleum ether, but generally industries nowadays are using acetone. So what we do is, it is a cold process. We don't heat during extraction, and the crushed material along with the solvent is stored in tanks, and in about 5 to 6 hours what we do is we some acceleration process also, no, with some pumping and other things will be done, because otherwise the complete essence of the spice doesn't come. So in an oleoresin we get both oil, that is the volatile constituent, and the non-volatile pungent constituent is extracted into the solvent. After that, the solvent is like heated, and during that process what will happen is the organic solvent what we have added will evaporate, and it can be condensed and collected separately, and the vessel will contain the concentrate of the spice, and that concentrate is called as the oleoresin. And the oleoresin is the actual spice extract which contains the pungent principle and the flavor constituents. Next, please. Now, another important value added product from pepper is the white pepper. This can be done even at the farm level. So, generally, what we do is the ripened pepper, fully matured pepper, is taken as a raw material, and this we have to, after sieving, all the small berries, all that are removed, and only pepper berries having pepper size of 4 mm and above are taken. This is transferred to the tanks. It can be what is that, the PVC, the tank, or our water tanks, what is constructed using bricks. It can be, because in the farm we cannot expect the other tanks, synthetic, syntax tanks. Many people are doing in syntax tanks, some people are constructing, but the olden practice is to dip it in a flowing water. But nowadays all that flowing water provision is not available. We are dipping it in a stagnant water, but in that case every day the water change has to be done, otherwise it will start stinking. In about 5 to 6 days what will we see is the outer cover of that will slowly disintegrate, and it will start degrading, and it become loosened also. That is because of the microbial action. And when we just take a handful of berries and just squeeze it, we can see that the outer skin gets separated. It can be removed, and at that stage what we do is we are removing the pepper from water, and then there is a machine called pulper, and to that machine we are transferring little by little, and we are washing it. So what will happen is the outer skin will get removed and we get the pepper berries separately. The berries are then white pepper berries are then dried, and then it has to be, again, what we do is the process of grading and other things we do. And it can be packed as white pepper berries, or if it is gone for pulverizing, we can powder it and we get the white pepper powder. Next, please. Next, please. So we have the another category is a powder form. Powder can be obtained both from black pepper and from white pepper. And from black pepper here, the size is not very fine like how we find in turmeric. Pepper powders of varying size up to 800 microns. That is, the pieces are bigger, and we call sometimes it is always not done by using hammer mill. We also go for the plate mill, and we get crushed pepper. So those pepper will have pepper grains, the size of the particles will be more than 800 microns. But certain cases, that is all dependent on the requirement of the client who is a buyer. Some require very fine powder, and some require large size crushed pepper. Like in case of chili, we have crushed pepper also. So the grain size, the particle size, it's vary. Next, please. Next, please. So the another important value added product which is very much found in the international market. Of course, all these products are not available in the national within the country. All these commodities are only valued in the international market. That is the freeze-dried pepper. Here again we have two types, that is green pepper, freeze-dried green pepper, and freeze-dried red pepper. Freeze-dried green pepper, and this is by the process of freeze drying. And for the commercial setup, it's like we have to do the pre-freezing, then under vacuum. What we pre-freezing to up to minus 48 degrees we go, then under vacuum we are providing heat for drying, and at a very low temperature of about 30 or 35 to 40 degrees we can evaporate the moisture and then bring the dry the pepper, and the dried pepper is almost similar to your fresh pepper. So is the case with the red pepper also. Red pepper selective picking, that is the ripened berries alone is picked, and the same process is followed to get the red pepper. Next, please. And again, red pepper in brine is another value added product. Similarly, like how we do green pepper in brine, similarly we can do red pepper in brine. Only thing is picking, selection of the raw material should be ripened. Okay, next please. Cardamom. Cardamom is called as the queen of spices, and we know that it is one of the most demanded spice in the international market, and Indian cardamom is valued for its specific flavor. Next please. Next please. And we all know it is generally harvested in the month of monsoon, and to get dried capsule is the first stage to get proper dried capsules without any breakage. So that is our main objective in case of cardamom, and also the green color of cardamom has to be retained even after drying. So these are the two important things what we have to cater to. And that for that we have to pick. This is harvesting here is called as a picking cardamom at the right stage. And in case of cardamom, multiple picking we go, some 8 to 10, sometimes even up to 12 pickings of the crop is done. Only what is matured at that particular time of picking, that is generally from June to October, this practice goes on. Only which is completely dark green in color, and the seeds inside will be black in color. That is the stage at which the cardamom has to be harvested, and at that stage it is harvested, and then we go to the next. Properly it has to be washed, and then we give an alkali treatment, because even after drying the green color has to be retained. Next please. So these are the operations: drying, garbling, washing with alkali, drying, garbling, and grading and packaging. Next please. Next please. So alkali treatment, we are giving 2% of sodium carbonate solution. We are dipping it for 10 minutes, and this process will enable to retain the green color even after drying. So next, please. Next slide, please. And this is some of the, generally washing is done manually, but in certain places we have mechanical washers, and this will help in proper washing because it is harvested during monsoon season, and these capsules are on the surface, top of the soil. So it is always associated with mud and other dirt. So proper washing is essential. Next, please. And drying, there are different types of dryers. Here the moisture content will have to be reduced from about 80% to 13%, 13% with proper green color. And nowadays we have, in earlier time there were only that few type dryers. Now there are different types of dryers, and I'll show you some of the models. And the improved models, it is nowadays, it is all other than trade dryers, we have the bulk drying system also. So the drying is completed in about 20 to 20, about 23 hours. Next, please. Next, please. So these are different types of dryers. So the last type of dryer, where nowadays generally it is in the bulk, 200 to 500 kg in a single that box type drying. Air is blown from the bottom, hot air is blown from the bottom, and it takes about 23 hours, and the temperature of drying is about 45 degrees, 45 to 47 degrees. We cannot go beyond that, because if you further go, capsules will start breaking, and the broken capsules are not preferred. Next. Next, please. So this is after drying. We have the operation called garbling, and in case of garbling, what we do is that will be a stalk. The stalk of in the fresh cardamom, we can see a stalk. But after drying, the stalk is not preferred. But this is very light, a gentle pressing against a mesh, or there may be even a drum type. We sometimes call it as a polishing, but it is not heavy polishing. It is only breaking open, removing the stalk, and then a surface smoothening is done. It is not in like in turmeric and all. Heavy polishing is done, but sometimes we call it as a polisher. The machine is called as a polisher. Certain places, certain people use that. Otherwise, this is another practice where the dry capsule is pressed against a seed, and then the stalk falls down and the capsules are retained over the seed. Next, please. But this is a little bit manual. So this is another type of, when the quantity is very large, we use this a rotary operation, and the stalk can be very gently removed. Next, please. And white cardamom is another value-added product. White cardamom is, the greenness have to be removed, but more than 95% green cardamom is only preferred. But white cardamom is preferred in certain regions, and for that, what we have to do is we have to remove the greenness, and for that we are using a bleaching agent, generally 2% bleaching solution is used. And next, please. Next, please. So these are some of the machineries what is available for cardamom. After drying, we go for cardamom polishing, then grading. That is no size of the cardamom. 6 mm, 7 mm, and 8 mm. These are the three standard size what is being followed for cardamom. So it is essential that using a grader, it is separated into required size. If it is 8 mm, it is all bigger size cardamom. Generally, the average size is 7, but then 6 to 7 mm is commonly followed or adopted or marketed. Then it can be properly bagged and sealed. Next, please. So this is a view of cardamom warehouse, where bags of tons and tons of cardamom is stored, and it comes from different farmers in the growing region. And here, when there is a required order, what the warehouse people do is it has to be again properly cleaned. That is, polishing will have to be done, and then also another operation is the sorting. So generally, in case of cardamom, even today we are following only manual sorting. A number of people are employed, and then there are different types requirements for sorting: fully broken, half broken, damaged. So different criterias they follow. That is all trade criterias. Based on that, these women laborers are very much experienced to separate the capsules, and they form different bags. They around them they keep around 10 or 15 types of bags, and based on each bag, the sorted cardamom is separated and the good ones are kept aside. So this sorted cardamom, again, no, all these bags again are categorized into half broken, full broken, seeds. All these categories will fetch different kind of price and for different purpose: oil extraction, oil essential oil extraction, oleoresin extraction. Then it goes for powdering. Then broken splits. All kind of markets are available, and that is marketed in a different way. But nowadays we do have color sorters in some of the most mechanized plantations. These color sorters do this job of separating, and they uh, they form different lots. They are called as lots, and marketing of cardamom is then done. Next, please. Again, it is a view of cardamom warehouse, how the bags are stacked and stored. It is very much essential moisture content because mainly it is grown in high rainfall region. The humidity is a main problem during storage, and we do have problems of aflatoxin. And nowadays we can see that there is rejection of Indian cardamom for two reasons. One is due to the presence of pesticide, because that is a cultivation practice. The most problems associated, the most common problems associated is the pesticide residue what is present in cardamom, and next is the aflatoxin. Aflatoxin is a post-harvest problem which is commonly found when it is stored, and it is because of the absorption of moisture during storage. And aflatoxin contamination, also aflatoxin detection, it is where the residue from the fungus, it can be detected in the lab, and the value of aflatoxin is permitted aflatoxin as per Indian standard is less than 30 ppb. For international standards, for as per ASTA, that is American standards, it is 20, and for EU standards it is 10. So these values are very less, and to get to that values, all our operations right from the farm to the farm operation to the storage has to be very perfect. Otherwise we will not be able to maintain that level of aflatoxin. And nowadays, all the consignments will be tested for all these parameters. Next, please. Next, please. Cold storages are also available in some of the godowns, and the optimum storage temperature required is about 11 to 14, and relative humidity to be maintained during storage is about 40%. Next, please. Coming to ginger, these are some of the varieties of ginger which is used for dry ginger production. One of the most important value added product of ginger is the dry ginger. And ginger, only when it is dried, it is called as a spice. And in the fresh form, we call it as a vegetable ginger. So for drying, we need fully matured ginger. Next, please. We need fully matured ginger, which takes about 7 to 7.5 months for obtaining the required maturity at which the commodity can be dried. So at the stage of harvest, it has the proper stage of harvest is very much essential. The leaves turn its color from green to yellow, and then it will start drying. But in case of irrigated condition, because only in Kerala and some regions of Karnataka we go for irrigated, rain-fed condition. Only then at that time, by when we follow the seasonal calendar by itself, it will follow. But other ways, in most of the places, it is rain-fed cultivation. In case of rain-fed cultivation, what we have to see is by around December, we stop the irrigation, and again it takes about 30 to 45 days in the field to dry. And only at that stage, the rhizomes mature and then it can be harvested. If you continuously do the irrigation, what will happen is it will not dry, nor the maturity of the rhizomes will happen. Only thing is the rhizomes will start lateral multiplication. So that must be taken care. Next, please. These are all the field harvesting. In case of preparing dry ginger, one important field operation is the peeling. So the main clumps are, when it is harvested, we call it as a clumps. Clumps are broken into small pieces. It is not each small piece. The piece should have minimum 3 branchings. In rhizomes, in general, in case of or the case of ginger, we see that no, it is all branched phenomenon. So when we break it, we have to see that each piece will contain minimum 3 number of branching. Only that size, when it is dried after peeling, it will fetch a good market value. The dried ginger will fetch good market value. Next, please. So after breaking into pieces, what we do is generally for commercial purposes, what we are doing is the operation of peeling is done manually. Nowadays, we do have peelers. Otherwise, even in those peelers, what we find is the major drawback is the breakage. We are not getting the length without breakage of rhizomes. So generally here what we see, and Kerala is the only place where dry ginger production is taken out in a massive scale for export. Now all the other places, ginger is marketed in the fresh form for different purposes. But in Kerala, even today we can see that most of the peeling operation for export quality of or for the commercial trade, it is done manually. Peeling is done manually. But we do have mechanical peelers are available, but that will cater to the needs of other value added products. Then after peeling, again we have to go for sun drying. Sun drying is a very lengthy process. Here it takes about 2 weeks for complete drying, and the moisture content is reduced to about 10 to 11%. Next, please. We go for polishing and peeling. I have told peeling is not fully complete peeling. We go for partial peeling, that is ginger on both the sides. We'll have to scrape using a blunt bamboo pole or a blunt knife. We have to ensure that the knife cuts are not made on the surface of the ginger. So that must be ensured, and complete peeling is not required. And so what will happen is after drying also there will be the skin will be in the form like it will dry like feather type appearances will be there. Just to get a complete smooth finish, we go for polishing. It is just a small shaking or something of that, rubbing on the floor. Different types they do. One such process what they do is what is shown in the picture, but in certain places they do even rubbing also. So different ways they do, but they don't use any heavy machinery for all this, because the more we put into a machine and then go, the surface will get damaged, which will then not fetch a good price. Next. Value added products of ginger. Next, please. There are a number of value added products from ginger. And next, please. So one such product is a salted ginger. Salted ginger, to prepare this, we use fresh ginger, which is about 6 months old. That is about 180 days after planting. We can use those ginger rhizomes. After harvesting, we wash the rhizomes, and then what we do is we are soaking it in salt solution containing 30% salt with 1% citric acid. What will happen is after about 2 weeks of storage, the color of the rhizomes will change from light pale yellow to light pink. So that is why this is also called as pink ginger or sushi ginger. So this is a product which is of again of export value, and it is mostly consumed in Southeast Asian countries like Singapore, Indonesia, then all this in, parts of China, all these places, this product is in great demand. Then comes the powder. Powder, what is happening is the dried ginger. Dried ginger is pulverized to get the fine powder. And again, one thing what you have to be aware of, all the ginger is not suitable for making dry ginger. So the ginger which contain more fiber content is only used for making dry ginger. And some of the common varieties is Himachal, then we have this Wayanadhan varieties, Wayanadhan local, then some of the varieties released from the institute like Varada, Rajata, Mahima. These are some of the common varieties which are used for making dry ginger. And criteria here is the recovery is about 20%. That is about 100 kgs when it is peeled and then dried. The recovery what we get is about 20%. Generally, the vegetable ginger what we use and the dry ginger what is used for dry ginger production, both are different. Next please. This is the flow chart. Next please. So the oil and oleoresin are again, like if it is a spice, by default we have 3 value added products. One is the powder form, one is the oil form, one is the oleoresin form. And in case of ginger, the oil percentage in the dry ginger is about 1.5 to 2.5% because ginger has a very low oil content compared to other spices. And oleoresin content varies from about 4 to 10%. And this variation is on the varietal variation. Next, please. And another value added product, now as I've told, drying takes about 2 weeks for complete drying, and sometimes for certain purposes waiting for 2 weeks is difficult. So in those places what we do is, or interested parties will go for mechanical slicing into small pieces, flakes we called it, and these flakes are either sun dried or flakes can be dried in a mechanical dryer. The whole rhizomes cannot be dried in a mechanical dryer. Whatever temperature, whatever we do, it will not dry properly. But if we have to go for a mechanical drying, then it has to be sliced into such kind of flakes. But the drawback in ginger is it will start losing its volatile oil content. After drying, it would have lost almost 50% of the oil present in the flakes, what is originally present. And we can also go for sun drying in an enclosed like solar tunnel dryer, or you can give a provision of net and then dry. All that can be followed, but then in case of sun drying or solar tunnel drying, it takes about 2 to 3 days, 3 to 4 days for complete drying. Next please. Other products, food products are like conserves, candies, paste, ice creams, then cookies. So many of these products we are doing it in our incubation facility itself. Next, please. The routine process. These are the routine process of making candies. Next, please. Biscuits, cookies. The traditional. The different flavors of cookies, different flavors, different texture, all that have been optimized here. And now the product is also, this is a commercial make. Whatever is shown here is a commercial make, but we do have our own texture of cookies, and it is being commercialized also. Next, please. Ginger garlic paste. Ginger garlic paste is another important value added product, and this equal percentage of ginger and garlic, 50-50 we take, make into fine paste, and to that we while heating we add a little bit of oil, and after making a paste, it should be very fine, otherwise no we get that fiber kind of texture. So colloidal mill is used for that, and then we are heating it in a kettle, and at that time we add a little bit of salt, and we cook it to the pasteurizing temperature at about 80 to 80 for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then cool it, add preservatives and citric acid, and then we are preserving it in bottles or stand-up pouches. Next, please. This is ginger paste. Ginger alone, if you want to do, we can again follow the same method. Generally, ginger garlic paste is having a good market. Next, please. Conserve is instead of using salt solution for preservation, we are using sugar syrup, and in sugar syrup, it is initially cooked after slicing, and then after that we prepare a concentrated sugar syrup and then transfer the pieces of ginger into it, and then we cool it and add preservative, and then it can be stored. Next, please. Again, freeze-dried products of ginger, we have two products. One is the juice powder and next is the cubes. So these two products are again, no, these freeze-dried products is mainly marketed in the international market. All these are not that commonly available in the Indian markets. So juice powder, we have to extract the juice and then go for freeze drying process. And in case of cubes, there are machines which will cut into cubes and then it is dried. The advantage of this is it is instantly water soluble in case of powder, but in case of cubes, what is that is it will retain the fresh flavor and taste of ginger, because dry ginger don't have the original taste of ginger. Taste or aroma or flavor of ginger is not as that of the fresh ginger, but in case of freeze dried product we have the original aroma and taste, flavor of ginger. Next, please. So coming to nutmeg. Nutmeg, we have two different spices, that is the outer red color maize and the inside seed called as the nut or nutmeg. And apart from this, there is an outer pericarp. The fruit you can see, a big fruit. So the pericarp is about 80% in the fresh form. About 80% constitutes the pericarp. So pericarp is generally discarded as a byproduct. Again, from that byproduct, we can do number of value-added products, and I will just detail what are all the value-added products. Next, please. Next, please. So this is a fruit. You have the outer pericarp, the red color called as maize, and the inside one called as a seed. Next. After removing, it is after harvesting, it is generally in the month of monsoon, it is harvested. We either we harvest using a pole, or generally it is fallen and then collected, because these are big trees, harvesting is difficult. Next, please. Then it has to be properly washed, and manually we have to separate the nut and the maize. And both nut and maize have different drying characteristics, and drying has to be done separately. In case of nut, it is a slow drying process which takes about 6 to 7 days for drying. Maize, on the other hand, we have to dry it very fast, and it takes about 6 to 7 hours only for drying. And the temperature is also different. For maize, we go to temperature of about 57 to 60 degrees and then dry it. But in case of nut, we have to go for low temperature of about 45 degrees, and drying has to be completed using at that temperature only. Otherwise, what will happen is the nut is actually the seed. It contains about 40% oil. This oil will start coming out, and then the shell also, what will happen is it will start cracking if the temperature goes up. These are the problems associated with drying, and hence we have to take care. Next, please. these are the operations, how they separate the nut and the maize. Next, different types of, again, in case of dry nutmeg, drying, we don't have like any kind of dryers can be used. But since the holdings are like one tree holdings, there are people having some 1 to 5 trees, then 10 to different holdings of crops are there. Even areas also, area, the land holding and the area which a farmer holds with this nutmeg varies from one tree farmer to multiple trees, which goes even to up to acres are available. So commonly we, till recently, we didn't have a different specific dryer for nutmeg, but of late, from past 4 to 5 years, we do have different dryers. But otherwise, whatever drying facility is available, you can use that and then go for drying. These are some of the traditional practices where even today it is being followed. Only thing is, it should not come directly. The maize should not come in contact with smoke. Not, of course, because the outer shell is broken and only the seed inside is used. Even today, we even like no biomass dryers, even if it is used, the hot air is passed through the material. Next term. So these are very crude form. This is, but for large holdings, even this kind of drying is followed. Otherwise, in certain more systematic way of drying, the gas is passed through a flue pipe. A pipe is arranged, and this air is passed through a flue pipe, and the temperature of the room is maintained to in about 45 to 46 degree, and then drying. A slow drying is followed. Next, please. This is another drying system where a large quantity is being dried. So a structure is constructed, and then it is spread in different, each lot, each tray will contain each lot, or maybe 2 or 3 trays are containing lot, and then it is dried using biomass. Next, please. Maize, next. Because we have to get the red color, and here the temperature, it is very sensitive. It is very, the red color is degraded if it is improperly handled. And if even if you don't process on the very first day of harvest, degradation will start. And this nutmeg and maize is very much prone to aflatoxin contamination. So we have to handle it on the very first day of harvest itself. Next, please. Next, please. So these are the different types of dryers available. Next, please. So only the critical, whatever dry, there are mechanical dryers I'll be showing you. But whatever is the dryer used, in case of nutmeg 40 to 45, in case of maize we have to go to 55 to 60. Drying times it is about 6 days, but in case of maize we have to complete it in 7 to 8 hours. Dry recovery in case of nutmeg is about 65. In case of maize it is only 35%. Next, please. So these are some of the mechanical dryers available. These are the farm models, electrical models are there, electrical with biomass backup models are available. These are all multi-purpose dryers, not only nutmeg or maize, it can be used for other commodities like Garcinia, all these crops are harvested during the same period, that is in the monsoon season it is harvested. So this types of dryers are commonly available, used for drying. So this is another type of dryer where it is in an estate holding, and hence small dryers will not be sufficient. So we have the tray system is fabricated, and the material is spread over the trays, and flue pipe is circulated in the room, and flue gases flow through the pipes, and the room is heated. Next, please. So this is cardamom type of dryer using LPG. It can be used for maize, not for nut. For maize, it can be used. Next. Next, please. Again, this is a crude model. A mesh is used, and we use some biomass for heating. Next, please. Next, please. Solar models. No? This is a German model which is installed in certain farms, like 1 or 2 farms, where they have the support of German funding. We can see such kind of solar-based tunnel models of dryer. And but for this, it is essential that we should have sunlight. So maybe in June, July, it may not be possible in this region, in this coastal region of Kerala. But then in the month from August to September, the farmers can use such kind of models, or even our solar tunnel dryers can be used. Next, please. So these are the drying of nutmeg and maize in our ISR experimental farm in solar tunnel dryer. Next, please. So this is the maize. After drying, it is scarlet red in color. It has to be properly packaged in PP covers, polypropylene covers, and then it has to be kept in such kind of food grade plastic drums and then sealed properly. Otherwise, this is very much quickly prone for contamination, fungal moisture absorption and fungal contamination. Next, please. Then the results of improper drying, I have told, no, the appearance, the product will have a unhealthy appearance, and the aflatoxin level rapidly increases. Next, please. I think we can quickly go. And some of the value-added products, oil, oleoresin, as I have told, only thing is the content varies. Oleoresin content from seeds, it is about 10 to 13%, and from seed we get the oil also. That oil is called as that is a fixed oil. Like the other fatty acid, we can separate the fat, and that fat is called as a butter. It varies from about 25 to 40%. Oil in nutmeg seed is about 7 to 16, and in maize it is 4 to 17%. Next, please. And this is a byproduct. This is not the spice, but this is the outer rind which is discarded in the farm. But nowadays we do have number of value added products prepared from this nutmeg pericarp. Next, please. So one such entrepreneur who is doing a good business is shown here. He's preparing squash, nutmeg rind squash, and then it can be diluted and served as juices. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah. So other value-added products we can is from the rind we can get the candies. Then it is used for the preparation of pickles, wines. Then what else? Jam. These are, and it can be dehydrated also, and that dehydrated pieces can be used for powdering, and that powder is added in many of the bakery products to get the flavor of nutmeg. Next, please. These are the commercial, some of the commercial brands making the pickles. Next, please. Even in this is an important commodity in international scenario, and Grenada is the main supplier for such kind of value-added product. You can see all jams, preserves, the candies being prepared, and nowadays here also in all the growing regions, especially some in Calicut, Thrissur, Ernakulam, and all. These are the growing hubs, and we have optimized many of these products, and now we have a production facility also at IISR, and some of the farmers have already taken the licenses for the production and they are producing it here. But all these are some of the international products available. Next, please. And it is an important source, like it contains myristicin, and myristicin is one which will help to relieve the pain. And so many of the pain balms, creams, this extract of nutmeg is used. and the products are being prepared. Next, please. Next, please. So some facilities at Indian Institute of Incubation Facilities. We do have facility for cleaning and grading of pepper, white pepper production, curry powder production. All these are available at our experimental farm. Next, please. All cleaning, grading, and separating units, including spiral separation, is available. Next, please. Packaging and metal detection to remove the metallic impurities. All these are for pre-cleaning of pepper. Next, please. So the facilities for white pepper production, I told you, it has to be soaked in water, fermented in water for about 5 days. For that, we do have machines, initial grading to grade the fresh berries based on the size, then mechanical washers, then fermentation tanks, and after about 4 to 5 days, water has to be changed every day. We have the pulper cum washer, where the outer skin is removed and the berry, the white color core, is separated. It is then sun dried. It takes again 3 to 4 days. Sun drying is not a one-day process. It takes about 3 days, and then it can be cleaned, graded, and packed, or the smaller one can be pulverized to make fine powder. Next, please. Next, please. Curry powder production unit. It is simply like the blends of spices in different ratios. It is mixed, and then we can get a particular powder of definite flavor and aroma for specific use, like biryani masala, chicken, egg masala. So all specific flavors can be developed. So we have optimized number of flavors, and the flavors are also being this powder, powder combinations are being given to on what to say, priced values. It is being taken by many of the entrepreneurs. Next, please. Next, please. So this is for preparation of curry powder. This after cleaning, washing of the spices, again we have to go for drying. And because here this is a secondary processing, instead of leaving it in the open condition and drying, we are using solar tunnel dryers so that it is protected against environmental issues of dust, animal waste, and other things. Next, please. And number of entrepreneurs have come into our spice processing facilities on mutual agreement between the two parties, and they have produced different value added products. Next, please. Next, please. This is our very first. So this is another facility what we have for development of value added products from nutmeg, rind, and ginger. So all what I have told, I've shown in the earlier presentation. So all these products can be prepared. All the machineries required for washing, cleaning, preparing paste, cooking, concentrating, drying, everything is available. Next, please. Next, please. So different types of value added products. These are all powder based products. Next, please. Then the wet products, liquid based products like squashes, jams, pickles, then candies, concentrates, then blended products using 2 or more combination of spice and a fruit have been optimized, and the facility is being used by several entrepreneurs. Next, please. Next, please. So these are some of the nutmeg based products. Next, please. Another technology where we have used some of the spices, a combination of spices, and we have commercialized during the COVID period, pandemic period, to Milma. Milma is our dairy milk production sector in Kerala, and they have produced, and we have given three sub technologies. One is the flavored milk, then mix powder form, it is called as golden milk mix, and then is the buttermilk. So all this three is being produced right now by technology has been taken up, and it is commercially produced by Milma. And then many other bakery type products are also being prepared. And all these products have been commercialized, and different flavors of spices also, all these products are available.